As a technician here at the Ford dealership, one of the most common things I see on the Super Duty pickup trucks are wore out front ends. The Super Duty come out in the year 1999. The front ends on these trucks has pretty much been the same all the way up until where we are now. So the first step in figuring out what is loose on your front end is actually identifying what the parts are called. So I want to start here at the steering gear. This is going to be where your steering shaft directly comes to, that turns all of your steering components, the steering gear. Here we have the pitman arm coming off, which connects to what most people do not call the right name. That is the drag link, right? This is the long bar here on this monobeam axle is called the drag link. Here we have our first tie rod end. You can see this is a tie rod end that has a longer shaft than most of them we're gonna see. This shaft then in turn goes through your middle tie rod end bar. I'm not real sure of the actual name of this thing, but I call it the tie rod end bar. We almost never replace this thing unless you special people smack something on the front end. It don't happen a lot, but most of the time we're replacing this tie rod end, this tie rod end. This tie rod end is probably the most common, and then obviously the drag link is always freaking wore out. On top of that drag link, we also have the steering dampener, which I've made other videos about how terrible this steering dampener is. Have recalls, death wobble. It's a big thing with Ford if you want to Google it. The next and probably the most common thing I see wear out on the F-250 Up Super Duties is the track bar. And this isn't a very good example because this one's obviously bent like a boomerang. This truck's been hit real bad on the front end, but I'll see this bushing right here wear out every now and then. Most of the time I see this bolt improperly torqued because people don't have the right equipment to actually torque them. The other thing, this is probably every single truck on the road with more than 80,000 miles on it, is this ball joint is bad. In the older trucks from like 17 down, I think 16 down, had this ball joint that was made into the axle. The newer trucks luckily have a ball joint that is made into the track bar, so you can replace that entire bar without having to freaking beat and press that ball joint out. You're actually going to try to figure out which of these components are wore out on yours. The easiest way is to get you a hand, just like the guy behind the camera there, Jake. He's gonna go up in the truck and turn the steering wheel real violently back and forth to try to expose all the slack for me and for you guys. Long ways for a short guy. I gotta let it down, so. Oh yeah, you got it, Jake. Booyah. Same way I just described those to use the way that I like to check it. I like to start at my steering box, more specifically not the ball joint. I like to start at this joint because I've seen this nut become loose before. We don't see any play on that. Let's see the drag link here. Not bad, but you can see and feel that thing move just a little bit. See it right there? It's pushing up a little bit. A little more on this side. See that tie rod in there. You could feel that. You could feel the bump, bump. Lower tie rod end actually doesn't look too bad compared to some of the other ones. And here's our final tie rod end. Not much slack in that thing. So this is the process back and forth that we take to figure out your front end issues on your Super Duties. Here you go, Super Duty front end.